As things looked up for the United States, things got worse for South American countries. In 1969, the LGBT rights movement was sparked, and the United States made leaps forward in technology and space exploration. The year before, however, Brazilian dictatorship became increasingly more violent. It increased censorship, attacks on political rights, and suspended human rights. Brazil, Chile, and Argentina all experienced student protests in 1968. Richard Nixon was also elected president this year. Him and his administration cared nothing for South America, which no doubt had an impact on how severely conditions depleted for South American civilians. President of Chile, socialist Salvador Allende, was elected president in 1970. He was overthrown in 1973, and in his last speech before suicide, blamed the coup that overthrew him on foreign capital and imperialism. The United States made advances for itself in 1969, when it interfered with South America, and the year before and the years following made matters much worse. Considero mi cuerpo, or I Consider My Body, by Chilean artist Carlos Lepe, used the body to reflect the wounds of a society in crisis. The text reads, I consider my body, the body of the artist, as receptor and sender of all social concerns. My screen printing work should therefore be fulfilled in the field of the collective. The text is hard to read in some parts of the artwork. Although that could be non-intentional, I believe it was a matter of showing how Chileans were censored, both socially and politically. The piece is titled I Consider My Body, and the artist uses his body as his form of art. The people of Chile were caused bodily harm, and the artist took what was being harmed and used it as a form of protest against the violence inflicted upon the citizens. He covers his eyes, which I saw as symbolic for the government purposefully being blind to the violence against citizens and the social and political repression of them. This piece was made in 1978. The demonstration took place after a U.S.-backed 1964 military coup overthrew Brazil's democratically elected president. It poses the question, what is art? What is it for? This is one of 4 pictures from the same documentation. The piece is intentionally blurry, so I asked the question, why? I took it as reality is hazy, out of focus. Everything is unclear and the future is uncertain now that the democracy had been overthrown. It was a form of peaceful protest, walking through the streets with a poster around his neck. This picture is just documentation of what was performance art, that was somewhat of an advertisement. Art was no longer for aesthetic in Brazil, but for protesting the unjust government and making people aware of the simple things that can be done to do so. This piece is one of 4 photos of a demonstration called To Chile, but I wanted to focus on this one in particular. In this photo, the map is scaled to be the size of his body, and Chile is crossed off on the map and rewritten on the artist's skin. I took this as Chile is only as big as its people, in that it is not necessarily the country, but the citizens that make it up. Chileans are Chile. I saw this piece as questioning what it meant to be Chilean and live there, under a dictatorship that greatly censored its citizens to the point where this demonstration had been photos hung up around Chile, to the point of the artist being forced to leave due to threatened harm. This piece honestly feels somewhat like exploitation to me, a representation of Chile exploiting its citizens, but I can't exactly explain why. I took this piece to mean, without its citizens, Chile is nothing.